So we're talking about thoughts and how thoughts have creative power, and how once we begin to understand how thoughts work and how they have creative powers and how to use that, the more intentional and more deliberate we can be involved in our thinking, which is what is the process of utilizing the thoughts, and how we interpret thoughts then creates the response to that thought, which is in words or action. And so let's take an example, let's take a negative example in our lives. Start thinking about something in your life that was negative. Maybe a person or individual said something hurtful, and you just start thinking about that thought, and you give more attention to that thought. And as I give more attention to that thought, you know what? That thought actually creates something what we call an emotion. So that thought that's given enough energy, it becomes an emoted thought, puts that thought into motion, which later puts the body into motion. And so as I'm thinking about this unpleasant thought or undesirable thought that happened to me in the past, it then stimulates something within. It starts stirring something within, to a place where sometimes my heart rate may change. I may sweat, especially thoughts of worry, thoughts of fear. When I start focusing on that, it starts changing physical body makeup to respond to that thought. And in some experiences, long-term patterns of thinking like this creates ulcers. It creates high blood pressure, hair loss, graying of hair, hives on the body, all types of things that are literally physical manifestations of bad thinking, or what Joe Myers would say, stinking thinking. And so what we have to do is learn how to be more intentional whenever those negative thoughts or thinking patterns come up into our lives. And so the one thing you want to do whenever you're becoming a more intentional thinker is that you want to think about what you want, not what you don't want, right? And so, for example, a great illustration is this. I'll give you two. One, as a golfer. And if I was golfing on the green and my goal was to get it over the water, if my thought process was don't hit the water, don't hit the water, don't hit the water, don't hit the water, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to hit the water. However, the correct way of thinking is hit the green, make it in a hole, whatever the optimal or the goal is, that is what you want to think about. Same thing if I'm playing basketball and my thought process is make the goal, make the goal, make the goal, make the goal, or if I'm a drummer, it's stay on point, get the rhythm, think in those terms, not don't drop the stick, don't drop the stick, don't drop the stick, or that's what's going to happen. So you want to, again, think about what you want, not what you don't want. Also, in the process of being a more deliberate thinker, you want to separate yourself from your thoughts. You want to become an observer of your thoughts. And this is when we have to actually grow in consciousness and awareness that I am not my thoughts. Sometimes we identify with our thoughts so much that we believe there is no separation. And so this to be true is whenever I think of an angry thought or someone disagreeable, say someone cuts me off, I'm now thinking about that to a place that I'm identifying with it. Now, when I identify to such a place, I now intertwine myself to it. It then causes a reaction or a response, maybe yelling or honking my horn or something of that matter, is because I'm now identified with that thought or feeling or emotion. Either way, what we have to do is create that space within ourselves. And a lot of times, this is what meditation is for. This is what sitting in silence is for. And just realizing that you're going to have thoughts and they're going to come and go. And that really when we dive in even deeper, we realize that we live in an ocean of ideas and thoughts. And most of our thoughts that we think are ours are not ours. They're coming through media, coming through experience past, and how our minds have been programmed to utilize those thoughts from the past experiences. Boom. So we're going to move forward in part 2 about thoughts and how we can be more intentional thinkers. So we're talking more about thoughts right now. We're talking about how I can be I am a more deliberate thinker, and how every day I can be more intentional and more involved in my thoughts. And so we left off talking about how the thought cycle works, and how when you give attention to a thought, and when you give enough attention, then it emotes that thought, creating an emotion, and later in turn puts your body into motion. Now there's several definitions about emotions and feelings, and right now we're just going by this understanding that whenever I give the idea or notion that whenever I give anything my attention, because I am consciousness, because I'm pure awareness, because I am an observer in this individualized expression of God, that whatever I give attention to, I then create energy into that, thus moving into a response to that. And so we're going to talk about more about our emotions, and how when we are driven by our emotions unconsciously, they are creating things in our lives. And so I'm going to talk about the subconscious mind for a second, because the subconscious mind literally is steering us about 80% of the time, give or take about 5% of that. Again, these are just numbers, and depending on your resource, there is about a 5% difference. However, we have about 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And so about, again, 80 to 85% of those thoughts are operating underneath our conscious level, which we call the subconscious or the unconscious mind. Not to say that the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are two separate things. They're actually one thing, but in sakes of communicating, I'm talking about the subconscious mind, which is lower or lesser level, which is subjected to the conscious mind. And we'll learn more about that. But again, so the subconscious mind is steering us. So the best illustration I could tell you about how the subconscious mind will steer or drive you in life without you knowing it is when you're actually driving a car. And so whenever you I say, you know what, Sean, I'm leaving work. I need to go home. And on this drive to my home, I make the thought, I need to go home. I'm on the phone. I am not texting, because that's not supposed what you're supposed to do. But I'm on the radio. I'm changing channels. I'm thinking about what I'm going to make, what I'm going to eat, or maybe I'm hungry. And all of a sudden, I'm pulling around the corner, pulling into my driveway, and I'm home. And so I just come to become aware again that I'm in front of my house. And so that whole trip home, I'm actually driving unconsciously, and my mind knows where to go. And I'm hitting in and out, maybe 10% in and out of consciousness here and there. And so that's the same way our subconscious mind actually drive us from point A to point B in life. So say that the subconscious mind has been programmed that, let's take a lack or limitation thought or idea that has been oppressed upon the subconscious mind. So that is why I can believe or have the pattern of thought of lack and win the lottery today, and within a year, and you know this to be true because we see it examples all the time, that within a year or two, that person that won the lottery is broke again, because they've been programmed to unconsciously give that money away, invest in bad deals, whatever it is. The subconscious mind is like, whoa, wait, I'm supposed to be broke. I'm poor. Why do I have all this money? What is the quickest, fastest way I can get rid of it? And so that is what the subconscious mind is trying to drive and steer you back to that level of poverty, which you have a mental equivalent image or self-image that we have of ourselves. And so that is how powerful the subconscious mind is. The subconscious mind is also called the silent worker, because it's always silently trying to create whatever is oppressed upon it. So again, if I am believing in lack and limitation, which a lot of us, because maybe our environment or parents or situation growing up, we were given these ideas that, money is bad, or, money don't grow in trees, or even when you're jokingly saying to your friends, I'm broke, I can't afford that, I'm poor, I'm this. The subconscious mind takes everything literally. There is no humor in the realm of the subconscious mind thought. And so whenever we're thinking that we're just BSing with our buddies and our friends, our subconscious mind is like, oh yeah, right, I am broke. I need to stay broke, you know? And so that is why it's important that we understand the power of the subconscious mind, because that's what it is. It's pure power. It's likened to electricity also. A great illustration about the subconscious mind is that it is likened to electricity. Just like electricity by its nature is not good or bad, but however the user utilizes electricity, it then can become good or bad. So electricity can be used to electrocute someone, or it can also be used to light up a home, to cook, to watch TV, or whatever usage that you consider good in your life. And so that is how the subconscious mind is. So if we don't understand that whenever we're encountering a situation or circumstance that is actually not bad luck, and that we're the X factor and that we're actually co-creating it, then again, we're going to continue to give our power away to this external force like the devil, like bad luck, like I crossed trees wrong, superstition, or I didn't do that lucky thing 3 times, and that is the reason why. When realistically, that it is known in this, and whether it be in a psychological level in psychology or in a spiritual level, that when the master teacher said it is done unto you as you believe, that belief system is stored into your subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind literally is just trying to create what is oppressed upon it. And so it's up to us to take control of that. And so I'm going to talk more about thoughts, feelings, and emotions after this.